Welcome to History According to Courtney! Today, we are talking about a food item that everyone knows and hates to love. College students and starving artists the world over would wither away to nothing were it not for this one simple, ready in 3 minutes, cheap as anything goodness. Ramen. So without further ado, here's the stuff. Believe it or not, ramen is an actual, for real, Japanese dish. Around 1910, at the height of the Japanese Empire, some chefs in a Japanese restaurant called Rai Kan took some Chinese noodles and put them in some broth to make a signature dish they called Shina Soba. Shina Soba means roughly Chinese noodles. Japan freaking loved Shina Soba, and it, as a Chinese dish, became a representation of the Japanese domination over China, which was, at the time, part of the Japanese Empire. So essentially, eating a bowl of Shina Soba was eating China. Croissant, anyone? Well, then World War II happened, and we all know what happened to Japan after that. Because the Japanese Empire was entirely split up after World War II, the word Shina became an incredibly offensive slur for saying Chinese. So no one was allowed to call the dish Shina Soba anymore. So what to do about it? Well, for a while they started calling it Chuka Soba, which was a slightly less offensive way of saying Chinese-style noodles. Then they started calling it Ramen or Ramen. Let's face it, R's and L's are really hard. From the Chinese words la, pull, and mian, noodle. This is also where we get lo mein and chow mein. So, in destroyed post-World War II Japan, the streets of the country began filling with tons of ramen food carts. Because let's face it, when you're sad and homeless and living in a country full of nuclear rubble, nothing can cheer you up quite like a cheap bowl of noodle soup. So eventually this guy Momofuku Ando noticed that everyone wanted ramen because it was an ultimate comfort food. So Ando decided that to help end the widespread hunger that he saw across Japan, he would find a way to package the dish and sell it for an amazingly cheap price. He discovered by accident that the noodles could be fried, dried out, and packaged for a low price. So in 1958, Ando's company, Nissin Foods, sound familiar, released chicken ramen, the first ever packaged ramen. At first no one went for it because it was a little bit more expensive than the stuff they were buying on the street. But once they realized that they could have the same dish in the privacy of their own home without having to wait in line on the street for it, everyone went nuts about it. Packaged ramen came to the United States in 1970, and after concerns about Americans not being able to use chopsticks, Momofuku Ando allegedly said, "Let them eat it with forks!" Which sounds suspiciously to me like Marie Antoinette's "let them eat cake," which she never said, so... Whether he actually said that or not, though, Ando, who died in 2007 at the age of 96, had excellent intentions of trying to end world hunger, and he has definitely succeeded in ending the hunger of poor and extremely lazy college students. So ramen isn't just a block of dry noodles and a packet of questionable flavor powder. It's also a styrofoam cup of dry noodles and a packet of questionable flavor powder. But it's a real actual Japanese dish, and whether you like ramen or not, you can't deny that it had a really good purpose. Momofuku Ando. I talk English.